This is a mini help video on the topic of inequalities. So let's start with the first question. It says n is an integer such that minus 2 is less than or equal to n is less than 3. Write down all the possible values of n. Well, this one here says that it can be less than or equal to minus 2. Okay, sorry, or minus 2 is less than or equal to n. So that is going to include minus 2 because of that underline there. So then I can go all the way up to nearly 3. So minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. And then because that has not got that same underline, we cannot include 3. So my options would be these 5 here. On the number line, show the inequality x is greater than minus 3. So what I do is have a look for minus 3. I draw a circle. If it had that underline like this one did up here, sorry, like that one did up there, I would fill in the circle. It does not. So what I do now is literally just get a ruler, and because it's greater than, I just come and draw a line like that, pointing upwards. This question then says 1 is less than or equal. This is exactly the same as question 1, or the same type of question 1. Less than or equal, it can include 1 then, but it cannot include 5. They're different symbols. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, or 4. They're my options. Inequalities like this are solved just like equations. We take 7 from both sides, and then instead of putting an equal sign, you put less than or equal to sign. So then 4t would remain here, and then 19 take away 7 is 12, and then dividing both sides, oh, you can see I did it there as well. Dividing both sides by 4, and you just put that symbol instead of an equal symbol, okay? So t has got to be less than or equal to 3. You may get asked to put that onto a number line. If you did, there's your number line, there's 3, circle here, fill it in because it had less than or equal to, and then pointing down there and give some examples of numbers, not minus 2, sorry, that should just say 2 and 1, and here 4 and 5, okay? But you didn't need to do that, but you could get asked to do it. That's what you need for the marks. This one then says the inequality is shown on the number line, write down what it is. So minus 4 is at that end, 3 is at this end. Because it's a number we're trying to find, I'm going to use n for number. And then because that's filled in, I'm going to put that with a line underneath it. Because that's open, we're just going to put that in it, okay? Next question. On the line, show x plus 1 is less than or equal to 4. We'll take 1 from each side, and we get x is greater than, or is less than or equal to 3. Find where 3 is. There it is. Fill it in because it's got the underline. Get your ruler. Draw a line. Point. Okay? This one here, it says 5 is less than 2y is less than 12. Well, it's just like we did there. Basically, we want to get the letter by itself. We don't want the 2, so we're going to have to divide both sides by 2. So we're going to get 5 over 2 is less than y is less than 12 over 2, which I'll now simplify to being 2.5 is less than y is less than 6. So the values it can be, well, it can't include that one, and it's not an integer. Integer means whole number. So the numbers between there would be 3, 4, or 5. It can't be 6 because it's not a less than or equal to. Okay? This one here, again, just like solving an equation, but unlike solving an equation, we need to get it on this side here. Otherwise, we've got a little bit of a headache to try and work out what's going on. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 3x to each side. I then get 4 add 3x is greater than 19. Now I'm going to take 4 from both sides to get 3x is greater than 15. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 3 to get x is greater than 5. So my answer is x is greater than 5. Okay? If you keep it with the negative, it's not as simple as just make it positive by adding it to both sides. We always want the x to be on the left-hand side of an inequality. It's much easier to deal with what's going on. This one now then, so just like this one here for question 4, we've got things on both sides. So what we would do initially is look at saying, well, we've got a letter that's times by 2, then taken away 3. We want to add 3 to each side, but there's 3 sides on this one, so we're going to add 3 to each of them. So initially we'll get that, and now we're going to divide each side by 2. Okay, as long as you do it to every single bit, it's fine to use this. So we get 2 is less than or equal to y is less than, I think I've given a bonus equal to there, that shouldn't be there, it's be really important for my solutions. 6, so that's going to be 2, 3, 4, or 5, that's it. Okay, now just like before, we want to try and get all the x's onto the same side, but I don't want my x's to be negative. So what we're going to do is, first of all, get rid of the smallest x from both sides. So we're going to get minus 4 is less than or equal to 3x minus 19. Now I'm going to add both sides, not by 19, sorry, not by 22, I don't know where that came from, but by 19. Minus 4 add 19 is 15, is less than or equal to 3x. Then we're going to divide both sides by 3 and we get 5 is less than or equal to x. Now it would technically be fine to leave that as your final answer. Sorry, let me make sure you can see that. 5 is less than or equal to x. But if you're going to switch it to have the x on the left hand side, then you need to switch the inequality as well. Okay, an example for that, 3 plus 4 is less than 10. That statement's true, isn't it? 3 plus 4 is 7, 7 is less than 10. So if I switch the sides, I need to switch the inequality. There's my example, 10 is greater than 3 plus 4. Okay, with equals, you can just flip the sides, it doesn't make any difference. With an inequality, you have to flip the inequality also. Over the page is nothing. That was the last question, and I hope you found the video useful.